You may be thinking that you're in a grocery store and there's someone in that grocery store delivering heroin.
You might not think a drug like heroin is common here in northern Michigan, but it is, and it could be in places you go every day. In the 8 counties they serve, the Traverse Narcotics team has worked on more than 60 heroin cases since January. They've seized more than 300 grams or 3,000 doses of the drug.
Now, that sounds like a lot, but those numbers don't even show how widespread the problem is, and it's getting worse. 9 and 10's Charlie Tinker looked into the problem and has this special report, Heroin in northern Michigan.
I thought it was something cool, funny, it's ha-ha, and I didn't realize, that was something that was like the beginning of a nightmare for me.
Jeff Culbertson was born addicted to drugs. As a kid, he remembers police raiding his house and his first encounter with drugs at the age of 9.
It just escalated from there because I always seen people doing it, and it's all I knew. And then around, like 13, 14 years old, I started shooting up.
Would you say that addiction, what you've gone through, is a disease?
Yes, definitely. There's no doubt in my mind it is.
Jeff is one of many, nearly 700,000 people who used heroin nationally in 2012. The problem is only getting worse. Science can't stop it, and it's probably a lot closer to home than you know.
It is killing your neighbors. It is killing your kids. It's killing your friends' kids. People are dying from opiate deaths every day.
Lieutenant Dan King is the commander of the Traverse Narcotics team. Because of what he does, King's identity has to remain a secret.
Very rarely did we see heroin in northern Michigan, and now we see it all the time. I think we'll easily see 50 to 60 cases, if not more, but importantly, those cases are becoming much larger. We're talking about 40 grams, 30 grams, 50 grams, 60 grams of heroin are now in northern Michigan.
Most think of heroin as a drug you do in some back alley in a big city, but increasingly, it is a suburban, rural problem. Organized traffickers take a steady supply of heroin from places like Chicago, Detroit, Mexico, pack it away, get in their cars, and sell it here.
September of this year, 1 pound of heroin was intercepted in Tennessee that was headed up to northern Michigan here.
Dealers move heroin into northern Michigan through distribution hubs. Missaukee County Sheriff Jim Bosher says dealers in Traverse City and Cadillac have found a new lucrative market with price markups that keep them coming back.
Up here, they're paying anywhere from $240 to $300 a gram. Down in the urban areas, you can buy that for $80 to $100.
But for Jeff, like most, it didn't start with heroin. It was the end result of a downward spiral that began with pills. An addiction to opiate drugs makes someone 40 times more likely to get hooked on harder drugs. In Michigan, between pills and heroin, overdose deaths went up 5-fold over the last decade. It's hard to pinpoint how big the problem is or where it is the worst because deals happen in broad daylight and fly below the radar.
How easy is it to get something like heroin?
If you have the right connections and the right people, we can have heroin in 20 minutes.
Lieutenant King believes they've barely scratched the surface of northern Michigan's drug trade at 10 to 15% contained.
Is there any corner of the world of northern Michigan that's really immune to the effects of a drug like heroin?
It's across all levels. It's kids, it's adults, it's professionals, it's people that are unemployed. It's all races, all economic spectrum.
Addiction don't discriminate. It goes everywhere, and it's a monster. It's a disease that's always going to be there.
Jeff's been clean for about a year now. He says sobriety opened his eyes to just how bad his life had gotten.
I finally got my son back after 7 years. I'm going to be getting married. I have stepkids. I have an 18-year-old daughter that calls me father, calls me her dad. That means a lot to me now.
Some of the obstacles Jeff faces in staving off relapse are the same challenges police face in enforcing the law. It's a mental problem and one that is impossible to control.
We can't cure this strictly with enforcement or anything like that. We have to cut off the need for it.
And I'm going to tell you right now, in northern Michigan, we need more help.
For 9 and 10 News at 6, Charlie Tinker reporting.